Students, myself Amrita Shrivastava and I am a faculty of US Academy Institute, Gorakhpur. Today we are going to discuss Class 7 English. This is your second chapter from the book Honeycomb. And this is your second chapter and the title is A Gift of Chappals. So students, this is story of a young girl named Mridu who lived in Madras, that is now called Chennai, with her grandmother, and the name of her grandmother was Tapi and the name of her grandfather was Thapa. And one afternoon her grandmother takes her to her aunt. There she meets with her cousins Lalli, Ravi and Meena. So the story revolves around all these children's Bridu, Lalli, Ravi and Meena. Let's read our chapter, that is A Gift of Chappal. This story is in two parts, the first part and second part. Let's read our first para. A smiling Rukumani to open the door. Ravi and Meena rushed out and Ravi pulled Mridu into the house. Wait, let me take off my slippers, protested Mridu. She set them out neatly near a pair of large black ones. Those were grey, actually with dust. You could see the clear mark of every toe on the front part of each slipper. The marks for the two big toes were long and scorning. So students, when Mridu goes to her aunt, that is Rukumani, and she opened the doors, and after that her cousin Ravi and Meena, they rushed out and they pulled them into the house. There she denied to enter because she was wearing a slipper. So she suggests that she will take off her slippers and after that she will enter in the house. So she take off her slippers near the black ones, and maybe you have noticed when slippers are too old, you will see some marks of your toes on the upper part of the slippers. That was the same with Bridu's slipper, and the marks were very thin and they were of only two toes. Let's read our next para. Mridu did not have much time to wonder about whose slippers they were because Ravi dragged her to the backyard behind a thick bitter berry bush. There, inside a torn football lined with sacking and filled with sand, lay a very small kitten lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. We found him outside the gate this morning. He was mewing and mewing, poor thing. So that's why the children were in very hurry because they wanted to show her the kitten that they got from the outside of their house, and they kept the kitten into a torn football and they filled the football with some sand and they gave some milk to the kitten into a coconut half shell. So everyone at Rukumani's house was glad to see Mridu. There was a thick bitter berry bush in the backyard. Ravi took her beside that. So there was a small kitten inside a torn football. The small creature was busy drinking milk that was kept inside a half shell of a coconut. And now Ravi is explaining how they found the girl. Now Meena informed that we found him outside the gate this morning. He was mewing and mewing, poor thing, said Meena, it's a secret. Amma says party will leave for our Paddu Mama's house if she knows we have a cat. So now Meena is explaining how she found the cat. Meena informed Ritu that they have found the kitten outside their house in the morning of that day, but they must keep it as a secret, otherwise the grandmother will leave their house immediately. People are always telling us to be kind to animal, but when we are, they scream, "Oh, don't bring that dirty creature here," said Ravi. "Do you know how hard it is just to get a little milk from the kitchen? Party saw me with a glass in my hand just now. I told her I am very hungry. I want to drink it, but the way she looked at me, I had to drink most of it to throw her off the scent. Then she wanted to tumbler back. Party, party. I will wash it myself. Why should I put you to in? Why should I put you to trouble?" I told her. I had to run and pour the milk into this coconut shell and then run back and wash the tumbler and put it back before she got really suspicious. Now we have to think of some other way to feed Mahendran. That means they named the kitten Mahendran. And now Ravi was very upset that they were being told to be kind towards animal. But when he was trying to do so, elders were screaming at them, calling the kitten is a dirty creature. His grandmother was suspicious while he was taking out the milk for the kitten from kitchen. He had to drink more than half of the milk to make her believe that it was for him. And Ravi also told Mridu that they have named the kitten as Mahendran. Mahendran. This little kitty's name is Mahendran. Mridu was impressed. It was a real name, not just a cute kitty cat name. So Mridu loved the name because it sounded real, unlike those cute ones you keep for the kittens. Ravi further added that its complete name was Mahendra Verma Pallava Punai and MP Punai in short. Actually, his full name is Mahendra Verma Pallavi Punai, MP Punai for short, if you like. He is a fine breed of cat. Just look at his fur, like a lion's mane. And you know what the emblem of the ancient Pallav kings was, don't you? He looked expectantly at the Mridu. Mridu giggled. Think I am joking? Well, just wait. I will show you sometime. It is clear you don't know a thing about history. Have not been to Mahabalipuram, have you? He said mysteriously. Well, when our class went to Mahabalipuram, I saw a statue of his Thathas, etc., etc., etc. Fact is, Mahendran here is a descendant from that very same ancient cat, a close relative, scientifically speaking, of none other than the lion, the Pallav lion, emblem of the Pallav dynasty. Ravi went on and walking around the bitterberry bush, waving a twig up and down, his eyes sparkling. This cat is a descendant of none other than the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. And if I may just remind you, they worshipped cats in ancient Egypt. So, students, now Ravi informed her he could make it from its fur, that was a very fine breed cat, and it may be a close relative of lion family like the one that Pallav kings used in their emblem. To this, Mridu giggled, which instigated Ravi to prove his knowledge about history further. On his school trip to Mahabalipuram, he had seen a statue of a lion, and he firmly believes that it was the ancestor of that kitten. He proudly announced that his small kitten is a descendant of Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. Now, he reminded Mridu of cats being worshipped in ancient Egypt. He believed it to be a descendant of a cat goddess, that is Bastet. Now he loved the sound of his own voice. Meena and Mridu exchanged looks. What does that have to do with anything? Mridu demanded. I'm telling you, this cat is descended from the Egyptian cat god, no goddess, Bastet. Yeah, that is it. So, well, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway in one of the Pallav ships, and his descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, whose descendant is Ravi flourished his twig in Mahendran, MP, Punai here. Whoop ache. He streaked, very pleased with himself. Mahendran looked up, alarmed. He had just been sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell, but worse than Ravi's awful whoop ache was a screech from the window. What a weird sound. If Madhu was startled, MP Punai was frightened out of his wits. Hair standing on end, he bounced up and straight towards a bamboo tray of red chilies that had been set out to dry. Trying to hide beneath it, he tipped a few chilies over himself. Meow! He howled miserably. The screeching went on and on. What is that noise? Said Mridu. So, students, when Ravi was very busy in making all the proud announcement about his kitten, when a weird sound of screech came from the window, Mridu was shocked while Mahendran was frightened. Mahendran means the kitten was very frightened with the sound. Mahendran jumped with fear on a tray of red chilies kept under the sun for drying. With the screeching noise continuing on the background, Mridu inquired what was. Ravi informed that it was Lalli's learning to play the violin. Everybody was in shock that what was the sound of that screeching. So, that is Lalli's learning to play the violin, grunted Ravi. She will never learn a thing. The music master just goes on playing like a train whistling on and on while Lalli's all the time derailing, going completely off track. So, they were explaining about the sound, what was the sound, and now Mridu inquired what is what. Ravi informed her that it was Lalli learning to play the violin. Mridu peeped from the window and she found Lalli was holding the violin in an awkward position, sitting a bit away from her music teacher, who had his back towards the window. Let's see comprehension check. What is the secret that Meena shares with Mridu in the backyard? So, students, the secret was about the kitten. How does Ravi get milk for the kitten? Ravi got the milk for the kitten as he said that he was very hungry and he finished half of the milk to make the grandmother believe. Who does he say the kittens and sister are? Do you believe him? He said the kittens and sisters are to Mridu. Ravi has a lot to say about MP Punai. This shows that he is merely trying to impress Midhu. His knowledge of history is sound. He has a rich imagination. He is an intelligent child. So students, think about and tell the answer. I think third statement is right. What was the noise that startled Midhu and frightened Mahendran? The noise was of the violin that Lalli were trying to play. Let's read our second part of the story. Mridu crept up to the window. Lalli was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was a bony figure, the music master. He had a mostly bald head and fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from the beneath of his gold-bordered waistee edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. He played a few notes. Lalli stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless. And unhappy to her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the visible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whistling along. As Ravi said, Mridu stared at the huge bearinged hand moving effortlessly up the violin's stem, making lovely music. Squawk! There was Lalli derailing again. Amma came a wail from the gate. Amma, oh. So after hearing the screech voice, Mridu peeped from the window and she found Lalli was holding the violin in an awkward position, sitting a bit away from her music teacher, who had his back towards the window. And a brief detail about teacher we will get. The teacher was bald with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears. There was gold chain in the neck and a ring on this hand. Actually a diamond ring was there. He had a big toe with which he was thumping the ground. He was playing the notes perfectly on the violin while Lalli was struggling hard. The master was playing violin very nice and Lalli was trying to imitate him. His tracks were filled with melody while Lalli continued missing the exact notes. Suddenly they heard a sound. Amma came a wail from the gate. Amma, oh. Ravi sent the beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda where she was chatting with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week and it is time he found another house to beg from. Pati explained to Tapi. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper clothes under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the arms to appear. Go away, said Ravi sternly. My patti says it is time you found another house to beg from. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of this house, he said, at last in a voice choked with feeling, are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generous for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice, Amma, Amma. Oh, sad his wail might be, but it certainly was not feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth with its few remaining teeth stained brown with battle. J. Ravi, tell him there is nothing left in the kitchen, called Rukkumani, and he is not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. So, students, while the children were having fun peeping from the window, when suddenly they heard the voice of a beggar, and suddenly Rukumani called Ravi to send the beggar away. She was fed up with the beggar coming to their place for a week now and wanted him to find another house. The beggar had made himself comfortable at the garden. He was leaning against the neem tree with his upper clothes spread under it. He was about to snooze when he heard Ravi asking him to leave. He was in shock after hearing this and called for lady of the house. An irritated Rukumani told Ravi that there was not anything left in the kitchen and asked the beggar not to come again. And she said that in a very loud voice that it was not required to repeat her words to the beggar. Ravi did not have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. I will go, he said wearily. Only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot. The tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large pink peeling blisters on the soles of his bare feet. I suppose he does not have too money to buy chappals, that means slippers. Mridu whispered to Meena, Ravi, have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? I don't know, said Ravi. Meena are too small to fit his feet, or I would have given them to him, and his feet were larger than Mridu's and Meena's. The beggar was shaking out his upper clothes and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road gleaming in the afternoon heat. So, students, after that, when the beggar had heard that he had to leave the house, so after hearing that, the beggar told them that he would leave after taking rest for a while. It was too hot outside and there was blister in his feet. Blister means जब बहुत गर्म ज़मीन पे आप चलते हैं, वॉक करते हैं, तो पैरों में छाले पड़ जाते हैं. अगर आप barefoot वॉक करें तो that is called blisters. The children were in pain seeing this and started making plans to give him chappals. So the children wanted to give them a set of slippers, but they were unable to give because they were very small and their slippers will not be fitted to the beggar. So they started making plans. Said Ravi, I am thinking about it. Blubbering, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not going to help. In 2 minutes, he will be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So, where do we get them? Come, let's search the house. He pushed Mridu and Meena into the house. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the odd-looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, whose are those? Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby-looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. These are just the right size, he said, picking them up. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. So Mridu suddenly remembered seeing a pair of old grey chappals while she had entered Ravi's house. She asked Ravi whom they belonged to. Ravi took the chappals and gave it to the beggar and asked him not to come again. Here, said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the slippers in front of old man, wear these and not come back. The beggar stared at the slippers, hurriedly flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them and left, muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. So, beggar was very thankful to the children for getting slippers for him, and he lived. And after that, they have seen that the beggar had crossed the one corner of the road, and after he was vanished. What happened next? The music master came out of the house and took an unappreciative look at the three of them sitting quietly under the tree playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda where he had put them. Now, when the music master's work was done, he looked very unsatisfied and he was very unappreciative to the three children. That time children were playing marbles and teacher started searching his slippers, and where the slippers were kept in the veranda. When the teacher came to the house, Lalli, he called. After a few moments, she hurried up to him. Have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here. Now he called Lalli that maybe she had seen the slippers. The teacher informed that he kept his slippers there in the veranda. Ravi, Mridu and Meena silently watched Lalli and music master search every corner of the veranda. He scurried around, looking over the railing, crouching near the flower pots to look between them. Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them, he went on saying. They cost a whole month's fee. Do you know? Soon Lalli went in to tell her mother. Rukkumani appeared, looking harassed with party following her. Where could they be? It's really quite upsetting. to think someone might have stolen them. So many vendors come to the door, worried party. Rukkumani watched sight of Ravi, Mridu and Meena sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began, and then seeing they curiously quiet went on more slowly. Seen every lurking around the veranda. A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrow. Another straight, tighter one appeared in the place of her usually soft, pleasant mouth. Rukkumani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. She would not be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet. She tried to tell herself. Taking a deep breath, she cried, Rukkumani, there was a beggar here. Poor thing. He had such boils on his feet. So, said Rukkumani grimly, turning to the Ravi, you gave the music master's chappals to the old beggar. You turns up here. Children these days don't party. And now the two elders were able to understand what was the matter about the slippers. Then Ravi informed that they have given the slippers to the beggar. And after that, the beggar went away wearing the chappals and blessing the children. It was the time for the music teacher to leave. Rukkumani questioned the children if they had seen anyone picking up the chappals. Rukkumani was really angry and Mridu could not control anymore. She told her that they have given the music teacher's chappal to the beggar. Rukkumani went inside and brought Gopu Mama's new chappals and gave them to the music teacher. The teacher was happy getting the new chappals but still pretended as though it was tough for him to accept them. These days children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate, only Rama can save such a naughty fellow. Rukkumani's eyes flashed. She did not seem to like the Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. When he had clattered off his new chappals, she said, Mridu, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such thing? Thank God your Gopu Mama does not wear his chappals to work. As she walked towards the kitchen and with Mridu and Meena, she suddenly began to laugh. But he is always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes home. What is your mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music master? Rukkumani, the loving mother, the teacher called Ravi a monkey, an incarnation of Lord Hanuman, which seemed clear that Rukkumani didn't like. She wanted the teacher to leave immediately. After he left, she called the children home and offered some snacks. She thanked God that go to office in chappals but needed them after coming home immediately. She wondered what she will tell him, giving a hint that she will take the blame on herself. Students, let's revise one more time in very short. Mridi lives in Chennai with her grandparents. One day she goes to visit her aunt Rukkumani and her cousins, that Lalli, Ravi and Meena. Mridu noticed a pair of large chappals when she reached their house. Her cousins served her a kitten in the backyard, which they had found the very same morning in front of the grate. The contrast between what people say and what they actually practice has been portrayed here, where parents advise to take care of animals and on the other hand scream when you do so with animal brought from the street. They share their secrets, plight, and how they fed milk to the kitten hiding from their mother. They had named the cat Mahendra Banma Pallava Punai, tracing instances from history. The cousins proved that the cat was a descendant of a lion, and the lion, which was emblem of the Pallava dynasty. They thought that the cat was a Mahabalipuram rishi's cat. And in second part, we know that Lalli was learning to play the violin from her music master, who was bald-headed and with an old-fashioned tuft. He was wearing a gold chain and a diamond ring. Lalli tried to learn notes, but her tracks were annoying, whereas melodious tunes came out from the master's expert hands. The attention from her was diverted. A beggar was at their doorstep calling from the back veranda. He spread a cloth to settle himself under the neem tree. Ravi asked him to find another home for alms. Beggar pleaded for generosity from the ladies of the house, yet decided to move on seeing the stern behavior. He requested to allow him sit until the burning heat of the sun to cool down, as it could hurt his already blistered feet. Seeing his pathetic condition, the children decided to provide him slippers. They were considerate enough to give him their own slippers, yet found them too small for him to wear. They found shabby looking, sturdy old chappals and gave those to him. He was obliged and moved. And after that, actually, we know that those were the slippers of the music master. To their surprise, when music master came out and searched for his chappal, he called Lalli to help him in finding his slippers. Rukkumani and Lalli were embarrassed and looked around suspiciously. The mother enquired from the children if anyone around the veranda. She got angry when she learned that the slippers were given away to the beggar. They confronted by the argument of exemplary sacrifice by Karm, who gave his precious belongings. Mother rebuked them by saying that he gave away what was his own. She hurriedly went inside to bring Golu Mama's slippers for the music teacher. The teacher gave disapproving look to the children. Everyone knew as that would be a temporary relief to the problem, as Golu Mama would disapprove of the children's act too. So students, that was all about your chapter A Gift of Chappals. Let's see comprehension check. The music master is making lovely music. Read aloud the sentence in the text that expresses the idea. That you have to read aloud from the given passage. Next question is saying, had the beggar come to Rukkumani's house for the first time? No. From 1 week he was coming. A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrow. What does it suggest to you about Rukkumani's mood? That she was very angry. Complete the following sentences that you have to do from the given passage. Describe the music teacher as seen from the window. So we have seen only the back side of the window, that the music teacher was bald and some long blackish oily hairs that was near his ears. He was wearing a gold chain and a diamond ring. So students, for question answers you will get notes. And that was all about your second chapter, that is A Gift of Chappals. We will discuss our next chapter in our next video. You will get question answer in your notes soon. Till then, take care.